of Marex Maritime News. These are the headlines on Monday, the 10th of August 2020. Union Shipping Minister Mansukh Mandaviya eyes 5 lakh Indian seafarers from the presently active 2.34 lakh. Nautical Institute awards Certificate of Appreciation to MSc India Chief Captain MP Bhasin. Manila back into lockdown. Filipino seafarer movements hit. Indian Shipping Ministry prioritizes development of underutilized network of rivers and canals. New York pilot dies from fall while boarding. Shipping Corp's first quarter profit highest in 54 quarters. Seafarer Happiness Index reveals crew morale continues to decline.
Hindustan Institute of Maritime Training.
And now the news in detail. The Indian government has set an ambitious target of increasing trained seafarers to a stupendous 5 lakh from the 2.34 lakh Indian seafarers today. This was stated by Union Shipping Minister of India, Mr. Mansukh Mandaviya. In an interview given recently to the executive editor of the Marex Bulletin, Mr. Hemang Palan, the Honourable Minister said it has been a constant endeavour of the Ministry of Shipping to provide more and more opportunities for Indian seafarers, as well as taking care of all their needs. Special emphasis is being given to upgrade and incorporate quality improvements in the training being imparted to our seafarers. Moreover, due importance is given to women empowerment as more and more women seafarers are opting for this challenging professions.
Since the very beginning of modern Indian shipping, INSA members have been at the forefront in training of crew. Indian ships have been the training ground for the countless seafarers who, after being trained on Indian ships, went on to serve on foreign ships. INSA members are proud of this achievement and continue their tradition. The target set by our Honourable Minister to try and capture a larger share of the world market of seafarers is fully supported by INSA, and a related step in this direction would be a dramatic increase in the size of the Indian flag fleet. This will create additional training slots for our seafarers. The Honourable Minister of Shipping has already set the agenda in this direction, and the efforts in overall growth of India's shipping, shipbuilding and seafarer constituency is noteworthy and deserves to be applauded.
I wish to draw the attention to the International Association of Maritime Universities, which is currently the best global representation of education in the maritime context. It comprises of 67 members from 35 different countries. And they have formulated a vision for a global maritime professional. And to address the educational needs of such a global maritime professional, they have analyzed the knowledge, skills and attitudes needed by them and the related intended outcomes of learning outcomes in something called a body of knowledge, which is published by them. So we should encourage our MET institutions to examine and adopt these, develop their own curriculum, syllabus, learning activities, assessment methods, which will aim at the achieving of these learning outcomes in a consistent manner. The specified learning outcomes in this body of knowledge are associated with taxonomies in three educational domains: cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. They are related to different tiers covering both certificate of competency and academic degrees. And all of these are presented in a series of tables and guidelines on how to use them. This body of knowledge considers the knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessarily primarily for a career at sea, and additionally other relevant related career paths which may be well above and beyond the minimum requirements of STCW. So this way, in my humble opinion, we can strive to be a global leader in maritime capacity building through excellence in maritime education and training.
The detailed interview of the Shipping Minister will be published in the 17th August edition of the Marex Bulletin newspaper in editorial syndication with India's most popular and widely read business magazine, Business India. On 8th August, London-based Nautical Institute awarded a certificate of appreciation to Captain M.P. Bhasin, who heads MSc Ship Management India. Captain Bhasin was felicitated for MSc's pivotal role in handling the crew changeover crisis during the ongoing pandemic. Maritime luminaries who participated in this ceremony included Captain Tom Joseph, President, Nautical Institute Southwest Branch, Miss Zillian Carson Jackson, President, Nautical Institute, Captain John Lloyd, CEO, Nautical Institute, Captain Vinod Naveen, Secretary, Nautical Institute, Southwest Branch, Captain Joseph Alapat, Deputy Conservator, Cochin Port Trust, and Senior Executive of MSc, namely Captain Bhuvanesh Puri, Captain Rahul Pathania, and Captain A.K. Das.
It's a great honor to receive the certificate of appreciation from the respected and venerable Nautical Institute for our team MSc towards their pivotal role in handling crew changeover during the pandemic. At the outset, I would like to state that true deservers of these appreciations are our incredible seafarers and the wonderful office staff who work tirelessly and hard work to ensure that the crew change is happening. I am merely accepting this recognition on behalf of all of them. The tremendous support we got from our owner, the Aponte family, our Group MD and CEO, Mr. Prabhat Jha, has been a motivational factor. Crew changeover issue is a one crisis that got unfolding at sea and it grew worse. Flights were shut down, crew release was stopped all around the world. Even then, the seafarers, though anxious about their relief, kept the ship moving to keep the world's supply chain on. This is something which is highly appreciable and we salute them. At MSc, we recognized the issue early on, took to approaching various governments, national forums, plead for the cause of seafarers' release by charter flight or all possible means. At the same time, we were in regular touch with our staff on leave to inquire about their welfare. Our HR team ensured that the families of onboard staff are regularly contacted and provided all assistance. We conducted a live webinar meet with all our ships at sea, where the management spoke directly with the onboard staff. We answered all their queries, openly discussed the issues. This was very important to understand each other and share the possible solutions together. The DG Shipping Shri Amitabh Kumar and Deputy DG Captain Daniel Joseph had been in the forefront to help the shipping industry. SOP came for crew release in Indian ports, which were duly complied. But majority of our ships were in the foreign ports. From mid-May onwards, MSc were able to get permissions through our Indian missions and foreign governments to bring our crew back home on private charter flights. We flew 1800 seafarers from our cruise ships on charter flights from South Africa, Italy, Rome, Brazil, and Dubai. Thereafter, the special seafarer charter flights were allowed to operate, which brought a lot of relief, and the huge crew change movement started. There were hurdles, issues, but authorities were very cooperative. Our seafarers on board who bravely and resolutely withstood the additional sea duty imposed on them by the coronavirus pandemic, yet there are many more patiently awaiting their turn to go home. They are physically tired by long period on board, but they are doing in silence, trusting and believing in us. As MSC, we are doing everything possible, chartering flights, diverting ships, delaying ships at ports to catch up with the flights, finding new ports, new solutions for the crew relief, and we will continue to do so. Very close to our heart are our MSC values. We have passion, we care for people, we are a family company, we believe in equal evolution. This puts us apart from everything else and motivates us. My thanks to the Nautical Institute, London, Nautical Association, Southwest Branch, Cochin, for the recognition to MSC.
More than 27 million people have been put back into lockdown in and around the Philippines, capital of Manila, as stricter measures are being imposed in an attempt to halt the country's spiraling coronavirus case numbers. It is likely that the Philippines will soon overtake Indonesia, the world's fourth most populous country, to become the worst hit nation in Southeast Asia. With seafarers' movements halted in the capital, the shipmanning sector worldwide might face unprecedented challenges due to this unexpected development. The Shipping Ministry has prioritized the development of India's underutilized network of rivers and canals as an alternative mode of transport. In his interview to the Marex Bulletin, Union Shipping Minister of India, Mr. Mansukh Mandviya, said his ministry is enthusiastically working out to develop an economic corridor of 4,200 kilometers of waterways and coastal shipping as part of the Eastern Waterway Connectivity Transport Grid project as early as possible. It will integrate water linkage between India, Nepal, Bhutan, Bangladesh and Myanmar, thus giving a tremendous push to coastal shipping in this region. This will prove to be a game changer for inland waterways transport in the years to come. We sought views from maritime stalwarts on this grand project.
I am very pleased to learn that Honorable Minister of Shipping, Shri Mandviya ji, is taking an initiative to develop an economic corridor which will include coastal water on east coast of India and inland waterways. As far as coastal waters are concerned, currently we do have a treaty with Bangladesh. However, I think the initiative of government has been throughout to include all BIMSTEC countries. So if we can bring under the same agreement countries like Myanmar or even Sri Lanka, that will give a definite boost to the trade on the east coast of India. As regard to the waterways, and in particular National Waterways 1 and National Waterways 2, National Waterways 1, I understand that the treaty is about to be signed with the government of Nepal, and that will facilitate movement of Nepalese cargo through the National Waterways 1 via the exit route of Virat Nagar and Veerganj, if I am correct. As far as National Waterways 2 is concerned, we have a protocol with Bangladesh. The agreement with Bhutan already exists, and so it will automatically integrate countries like Bhutan, Bangladesh and India. My humble request to the Honorable Minister and the government agencies would be to provide water in the waterways and make the waters navigable. Once that is done, the stakeholders like member companies of my association would be happy to operate the vessels along that route and take care of all other issues that may come along during the trade.
A Sandy Hook ship pilot has died following a fall while boarding a tanker arriving at the port of New York and New Jersey. According to a press statement, pilot Captain Timothy Murray died from injuries sustained after falling from a pilot ladder. The incident follows the fatal fall of another Sandy Hook pilot in late December 2019. This incident had prompted approximately 1,200 American pilots from across the country to call for an end to the trapdoor pilot ladder arrangement, which is still commonly used within the industry despite the non-dangers associated with it and IMO guidelines against it.
It is very unfortunate incident of pilot falling off the pilot ladder at Sandy Hooks and lost his life. Earlier we had one more incident in December last year where pilot had fallen off the pilot ladder and died. The earlier incident was due to the trapdoor arrangement, and the recent incident of Captain Murray falling off the ladder is under investigation, and we yet don't know if it has happened due to the trapdoor arrangement. Now, trapdoor arrangement is used while you rig up the pilot ladder in combination with the ship's gangway or ship's combination ladder. That arrangement has certain flaws of rigging and practices which need to be eliminated. AMPA is writing to MOUs and administration for the cause. American Pilot Association has already written to the IMO and requested to save the pilots' lives due to this faulty arrangement. I, as AMPA, request all global pilot unions to take up this cause and ban the trapdoor arrangements of pilot boarding, whereby we will be able to save pilot lives.
The Shipping Corporation of India has inked a profit of Rs 317 crores for the quarter ended 30th June 2020. This is the highest profit after tax in 54 past quarters. The share of the company closed at Rs 57 with gains of 4.11% in the day session on the BSE.
A statement by the company said, the Shipping Corporation of India Limited has reported a standalone net profit of Rs 317.48 crores in Q1 of 21. During the corresponding quarter of the previous year, that is Q1 of 20, India's biggest ocean carrier had reported a loss of Rs 39.36 crores. Meanwhile, revenue from operations of the company have increased to Rs 1,143.46 crores during the first quarter of 21 from Rs 918.95 crores a year earlier. The national carrier in Q1 21 made the most of the high tanker freight rates owing to the continuing high demand of crude tankers by refiners and traders for storage purposes due to a slump in global crude prices and lack of storage space ashore. The tanker segment operating revenue for Q1 21 was Rs 861.46 crores compared to Rs 571.25 crores in Q1 20. The tanker earnings contributed to 75% of the company's quarterly revenue. The company's chairperson and managing director, Mrs. H.K. Joshi, however, cautioned that the rise in tanker rates in the backdrop of a sharp drop in oil prices and demand for floating storage may not sustain in the future, as the curve was already showing a visible flattening. With the other segments, viz. Liner, bulk and offshore, the performance being affected by the pandemic, the near-term outlook for these segments continues to be negative. SCI owns about a third of India's shipping tonnage. It runs 32 oil and product tankers, 15 bulk carriers, 2 container ships and 10 offshore supply vessels, aggregating to 5.31 million deadweight.
The latest Seafarers Happiness Index, published by the Mission to Seafarers and undertaken in association with the Shipowners Club and Volume Group, reveals ship's crews' continued decline of happiness at sea. Overall, seafarers' happiness has dropped from 6.30 in Q1 of 2020 to 6.18 in Q2 of 2020. The report makes it clear that the seafarer community is in the midst of a mental health crisis. It shows the continuing decline of happiness at sea, largely due to the inability of seafarers to sign off and return home. heavy workloads, virus fears, and a perceived lack of COVID-19 precautions on board vessels are exacerbating the decline in satisfaction. In fact, Australia might be in the middle of a crisis as several ships are now held up in its port on account of their crews refusing to sail any further.
Greetings, everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank and congratulate each and every one of you for the committed and continued efforts despite the challenges and limitations during these COVID-19 times. We certainly cannot ignore the growing concerns on the health and well-being of our seafarers, as well as the alarmingly low happiness index reported. But we must also not be surprised. We are in the middle of a global crisis and are well aware of the challenges, be it port restrictions, uncertain schedules, port visits, limitations, extended contracts. They all are factors to the challenging problems. However, we must choose to focus on what is in our controls and things that we can address. When it comes to happiness, we closely relate it with well-being, and well-being with our state of mind. However, it's important to note and understand that well-being is actually the sum total of one's physical and psychological health. By focusing on addressing one will not solve and address the underlying issue. Therefore, a combined approach on the health and well-being as well as medical assistance is important for the care of our seafarers. At 3Q, through our duty of care services, we're delivering 24/7 medical assistance manned by qualified doctors, MBBS, MDs around the clock, backed by a group of senior doctors and specialist panel to provide focused care, and a dedicated wellness team that's working purely on the proactive care and well-being of our seafarers. The health and well-being survey that is currently being conducted by us has seen over 1,200 seafarers responding to that survey. In that, we're able to see a clear correlation between the psychological and the physical aspects of well-being. It's important to remember that the psychological well-being is a combination of various factors, and they often manifest into a physical condition. Therefore, if you look at the medical events that are being reported, we find them to be more closer linked with the physical concerns being marked by the seafarers. Hence, it is extremely important that we attend or address both these issues. On that note, I'd like to end by saying the important takeaways for us during this time is that we can provide our seafarers with good qualified support to address their symptoms and underlying health concerns. By providing them this support from the shore, gives them that boost that they know their health and well-being is in safe hands. It is one step to helping them feel and get better and prevent the indexes and the general health and well-being from dipping even further. I'd be more than happy to share more details on our continued efforts and duty of care services. And thank you again, everybody, and Marex for this opportunity.
The global pandemic has caused a wave of concern amongst the maritime industry. The seafarers are now experiencing mental health crisis on board. This I can say so as the counseling sessions I've had with the seafarers who are stuck for more than 10 to 12 months on board are experiencing two major areas of concern. One, mental fatigue, and two, anxiety. These two areas need to be noticed as these are causing workplace conflicts and also suicides are happening more often than before. This can be also understood by looking into the quarterly report submitted on the happiness index of seafarers. Repatriation has started, but there's still a long way to go. And this has to be addressed by all the government officials, the companies, and the people involved, including NGOs. Families are also showing concern about seafarers who have not been able to return back from ports. This has to be addressed, and definitely it is having an impact on the mental health. we need to understand that if the mental health is not looked into, this is going to create more accidents, more incidences, and more suicides.
Greece has become the 13th nation to exempt seafarers from COVID-19 related travel restrictions, meeting its pledge to the IMO to facilitate crew change. Greece joins Denmark, France, Germany, Indonesia, the Netherlands, Norway, the Philippines, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, the United Arab Emirates, the United Kingdom, and the United States to designate seafarers as key workers and enable crew changes to be carried out. This follows a virtual ministerial summit hosted by the UK government last month.
The Swedish shipping company Furetank has launched its 7th dual-fueled vessel at the Avikdingjiang shipbuilding yard in China. The vessel, designed by FKAB, is an ice-class 1A tanker equipped with batteries and dual-fuel engines capable of running on liquefied natural gas. The concept has been developed by FKAB together with the owners Furetank.
The air and cruise travel industry is starting to show signs of life, but its future, say experts, remains in a balance. As the world progresses towards a COVID-19 vaccine and the eventual control of the virus, the travel industry will most certainly face demands from the traveling public to maintain several of the current safety and hygiene initiatives. Cleanliness and sanitization will become the norm. Touchless interactions will proliferate and technology will reduce human interaction. Will the joy and exhilaration of travel return? Yes, but with a new value proposition built around safe and secure travel. Much like air travel changed after 9/11 with security screening, so will COVID-19 change our demands for a safe and clean travel experience.
8 leading maritime nations are coming together to form a new network to encourage the development of maritime autonomous surface ships, or MAS. Called MAS ports, the new network will address the challenges of making ports ready for autonomous shipping. Representing the flag coastal and port authorities of China, Denmark, Finland, Japan, the Netherlands, Norway, the Republic of Korea, and Singapore, the network met virtually to outline the objects of the initiative. They were also joined by representatives from the IMO, IALA, as well as the International Association of Ports and Harbours. Believing that vessels and ports must be equipped with infrastructure that has common terminology, form, and standards for seamless operations, the network outlined goals that are designed to address the challenges and achieve alignment of standards for the trials and operations of maritime autonomous surface ships in ports.
Thank you for watching this news bulletin. See you all next Monday.